elaborate and give us all the principles we need to overcome our trauma. So today is about overcoming trauma part 2. If you missed yesterday, please watch the video again and again on Facebook, and it's going to be available very shortly on YouTube, because this is very important. And I like the way she started with us, how she started our lecture yesterday, because everything started from when we were all young, either we like it or not. Some of us, we shy away from it. We pretend as if, no, it's not like that. But some of us, we know about it, but we kept it to ourselves, and we keep growing. Because any problem that you didn't overcome or tackle it um, or deal with it, in the future, it will always come along with you. And that is why it is so important that we learn all these things. We all have one trauma or the other. So we can't shy away, we can't pretend, and we can't lie. So it's a good thing for us to come together and learn. Professor Dr. G.C. Kavitha, we're going to change that soon. Professor G.C. Kavitha, it's our error there. So that is why I'm emphasizing on that, so that you will know whenever you meet her on the way. Don't say KC. It's not KC, it's GC. And then you will get the meaning of very soon. Okay, like I said, GC. G stands for Kaldavaran, and C stands for Jengala. So that is why we need to correct it. So Professor Dr. G.C. Kavitha is an internationally acclaimed, I hope I'm recording, okay, is an internationally acclaimed inspirational speaker known as the Happiness Woman, positive psychology, physiotherapist, psychometric test professional, teacher trainer, QPR, gatekeeper trainer for suicide prevention, social activist for world peace and happiness, have counseled 31 to 65,000 women and adolescents till March 2022, voluntarily on happiness under the title Happiness is Your Birthright. That means it's your right to be happy. So she has honorary position Vice President ISRI India, editorial board member of RMPP, supported by India's Council of Social Science Research. Is also the international president, Department of Health, Success World, NGO run by Queen Nadia and King of Hawaii. Professor is also the coordinator wellness for Indian Govi Action Network. And our professor is also the project head for Samidian, a collaborative initiative of ICAN and NCPCR. So permit me this morning to welcome Professor Dr. Kavitha G.C.
Thank you so much, Professor Elizabeth Lucas. And then it's such a pleasure listening to the previous speaker on the finances and the emotional support that is much needed in a relationship, which we know that it is such a crucial thing to maintain the relationship. So it's been, I mean, I think we began the day with a wonderful talk, and thank you so much, Ambassador Pastor AOB, and other co-speakers like her online. So I let me give a gist of like what we spoke yesterday, and probably continue from there. Like yesterday, the talk was on like 75% of the traumatic experiences inside us either shows off in terms of behavior, or it is repressed and shows later in life. And when I say the childhood traumas, it could be it is in fact related to the attachment style with the primary caregiver. When I say attachment style, we are talking about what kind of boundaries has been set between the primary caregiver and the children, and then what kind of physical, emotional safety has been given, what kind of independence has been given, and what kind of support or appreciation has been given, and what kind of acceptance has been given to the child during childhood, which translates into an adult personality. And if there is a gap either in the physical in the physical support, or in the emotional support, or in the disciplinary actions, or in terms of abuse in forms of physical, emotional, or sexual, all of these things, they translate it into a kind of an adult personality, which starts reflecting in terms of the various behaviors. So we can understand that the person has a trauma through the consistent behaviors which they exhibit as an adult. Like, to name a few behaviors, I would say somebody like who's easily agitated for everything, who cannot take even, who's highly intolerant towards any kind of a feedback or criticism, a constructive criticism, or somebody who just escapes away from the situation, who do not want to stay in that situation, or somebody like who becomes a people pleaser, who does something beyond the needs of the person. They go beyond, they forget about themselves, they do things beyond a person's needs. Or somebody like who's so clinging in nature, like they are behind a partner all the while, and they keep checking on the partner, where the partner is going, when she's coming, so much clinging in nature. Or somebody like who feels often guilty, somebody who feels shame, somebody like who's angry, somebody who has lot of fear, and somebody who lacks self love or self respect, somebody who has low self esteem or sense of worth. And the list is endless, if I have to keep continuing like this. So if we know the behavior of a person is not normal, because most of the times we normalize an abnormal behavior. If somebody is angry, we say that he is angry, he's like that. Maybe his maternal uncle was like that, and he's been on his father, or he's been on his uncle. But what we fail to understand is, like, there is a trauma that has been inside the person, which is actually reflecting or externalizing as a specific behavior. So this is what it is. So now let us talk about, with respect to relationships, like what are the various kinds of the traumas that we often notice in the society. Okay, so let us first, I mean, it's a very common thing which we all know. One is the emotional, physical, or a sexual abuse, which can happen between the intimate partners, or which can happen between the parent and the children, or which can happen between the friends. Okay, it could be any relationship, any kind of physical, emotional, or sexual abuse. And second one, probably I would like to go with, somebody belittling or insulting or bullying, exhibiting bullying behaviors towards the other partner all the while. Okay. And the third one, probably somebody threatening a partner or loved ones, stating that, if you are not doing this, I will take away my life through suicide, or I will take away my life by killing myself, or it could be anything. Threatening a loved one is also a kind of an abuse. And then probably next one would probably be, limiting a partner's autonomy to make choices of life. They would start interfering into everything, right from, the dress they want to make, to the food they want to cook, to the friends they want to talk. So there is a limitation in the autonomy of the other partner. And as the previous speaker was mentioning about controlling the finances so badly, not giving the permission for the other partner to think about it, that is also a kind of a trauma that can translate it into a trauma. And next one is and probably, intimidating the partner with weapons, I mean, taking the knife or telling them that I'll kill myself or I'll kill you, or using the weapons and then threatening the partner. And next one could be destruction of the personal property, that also exhibits, that also is an aftermath of a trauma, that the person, because I know many people, I know few of my friends who keep, breaking their mobile phones no matter what the cost of it is. When they are angry, they want to destroy something. There is a destruction of the properties. And then probably we are and as other type of trauma could be wherein, they stop a partner from seeking help from a mentor or from a professional help. They say that you're fine, don't go for that. The partner or somebody wants to get a help for themselves, but it is being stopped. They say that no, you don't need a help, they stop them from moving anybody. I know a case that has come to me wherein, they have stopped, they have taken away the all the communication systems from the particular person, and they have locked the door, and they have jailed the person inside. It was a kind of a house locking. That's also a kind of a trauma that we can think of. And the next very common behavior that I often see across the globe, I'm not talking only about India, across the globe, is gaslighting. When I say gaslighting, a partner makes the other partner doubt their ability so much that the other partner feels that he or she is not worth anything at all. So all the sense of worth and self-esteem is very, very smartly manipulated, and it is brought down. This we often see in people who already have a trauma in the childhood, wherein they don't trust others, and they have a very negative opinion about others. It is an attachment style, and they have a positive opinion about themselves. These are the people who create this gaslighting tendency, that leads to the person who's doing that has a trauma. The victim also gets into a trauma because of this. And the next thing could be the, we call it the silent treatment. When they are angry, they don't talk for days together. And that is the way they give the trauma to the other person. They just are so silent, and they feel so happy about it. That is also a kind of a trauma that has come because the perpetuator has a trauma, and the person who's undergoing that, the victim, also is traumatized because of that. And the second and the next one is the love bombing, where they prefer to show so much love, and they try to blackmail emotionally. They try to capture a person emotionally by lot of love which is not true from the heart, by lot of affection, or by showing an external behavior which does not come from the heart, such that the person cannot speak anything because there is so much of love being to the person. They lose the ability to say no. They lose the ability to make boundaries. They lose the ability to know what they want, because they are so victimized to the need of the other person, that they don't even realize that they are into a trauma. Love bombing is a very, very silent, subtle way of really, really, traumatizing the whole experience, where both the person who is giving the trauma to the receiver, both are in the process of a trauma. So these are all the few various ways that we can see how a trauma can reflect in a relationship, how the trauma can reflect in a relationship. But unfortunately, there is a thing called trauma bonding. The abuser is so attached to the abused is so attached to the abuser that they don't even realize that they are undergoing a trauma. This is the case we often witness with the domestic violence. When the husband comes and beats or when the whacks up the wife says, that's okay, tomorrow he will be fine. So she makes reasons, she tries to bring out the rational reasons that that is okay, that is accepted. Beating a wife is accepted, abusing, physically harming a wife is accepted. Most of the cases the sexual abuse is accepted, taken, especially in the underdeveloped countries, or in the countries where they are not independent, where the women are not financially independent. They get so much used to taking this trauma that there is a bondage that they establish with the abuser, and they cannot come out of it. They don't even realize that there is a problem because they either feel sympathetic, okay, he's drunk, he's not okay, maybe he lost his parents during the childhood, maybe that is the reason why he's behaving like that, or maybe he's working so hard and he's so stressed at work that this is the way that he will behave. So they find out a rational reason because the trauma bonding is already there. So most of us, I mean, today, this class, my idea is to create an awareness on the traumas that you are undergoing. We mentioned so many traumas, different types of traumas that can be happening in your life, which you are not even aware of because you already established a bonding with the trauma. Maybe it doesn't make a difference now, but as the life progresses, at one point of time, a person starts thinking, what is the purpose and meaning of my living? Why am I living? What am I doing? What is my purpose? And at the end of the day, why, before I die, what did I do on this planet? If somebody has to question themselves, they will finally realize that they have done nothing, and they have just missed out a very beautiful, precious life, which otherwise they could have taken an action. So today's the whole idea is to create an awareness, make people aware that the dramas can exhibit themselves in various ways, and why person who struck up onto the trauma bonding should make steps to come out of it. Okay, if the behavior is really not in a position to do something, it is always, I would suggest, a therapeutic help is always needed for any trauma bonding that is happening across. Otherwise, we have some few simple ways to really to really heal ourselves from the traumas that has been established since the childhood. So let us first understand something. During the healing process, the healing is not linear process. I don't say I've started at step 1, I go to step 2, I go to step 3, then after step 4, then step 5, step 6. It is not linear. Maybe I go to step 2, some trigger comes in, and probably I come back to step 1 again. Okay, wherein I need to start even from step 1. So we need to understand that this is the process is not linear. No healing is linear. It is so different. It is so different from person to person. So when, let us say that we are noticing somebody reaching a step 3, so let us not casually think that the next is step 4, step 5, step 6. It doesn't happen like that. It can or it cannot happen. I don't say it would not happen, but the chances are that it is not linear. Any healing is non-linear. Okay, so we need continuous conscious effort to be aware what are the various kinds of trauma that we are undergoing through our intimate relationships, or from the workspace, or from the friends, or from the nearest society. What are the various traumas, as I just mentioned earlier? So after realizing, we need to next note, are we in a trauma bonding that we don't want to take any steps to correct or to heal from the existing relationship? I think these are the two most important awareness aspects that we need to build as a human being. So once we are aware that this is the problem, yes, I am into a trauma, I am being belittled, I am not being given freedom, or my finances are completely controlled, or I am not being given autonomy to do the things the way I want to do. That could be the smallest things also. Okay, when I am being done said, or being treated that way, that is the first step that I progress towards the healing. So first is awareness. Be aware if you are into a traumatic bond and what kind of trauma you are undergoing. The second most important thing is validate your feelings and emotions. I often keep telling this to people, validating the feelings, because most of the times we overlook them or we underlook them. I'm sad with a certain relationship. I overlook and say everybody is like that. Or I overlook, I'm upset or I'm hurt at certain reasons, but that's okay for me because I'm used to that. Okay, so let us validate that feelings and emotions that we have. That is something very important. After validating the feelings and emotions, sit down and write what has caused this behavior with you. What kind of childhood has been given to you? As I mentioned, were you not given freedom to take decisions? Were you not, the four spiritual needs which I mentioned in the first masterclass, the four spiritual need, the need for love, the need for physical safety and emotional safety, the need for appreciation, and the need for acceptance? No matter you're right or wrong, you are still the most loved child of your family. What did you miss as a child? Make note of it, because subconsciously, even without your awareness, you need to understand your gut struck somewhere, and which, as I told you earlier, this particular emotion is so repressed that you're not even realizing that there is a trauma that is hidden inside you. So it is so important. First is be aware and be very conscious of the trauma that is surrounding you. Second, understand if you are in a trauma bonding, which is very important. Third thing, now start going back to your childhood. Sit down. What kind of childhood you had? Were you given love? Were you given safety? Were you given appreciation? Were you given acceptance? Was there a flaw somewhere? There was a flaw. What was your childhood problems? What were your childhood bad experiences? Start making a note of it, because this is what is manifesting as an adult behavior. Okay, that is the third thing that you have to do. After doing this, now please understand, you are okay, you are best the way you are. Okay, so you need not be perfect, because one of the trauma behaviors is trying to be so perfect. I know many people, I've seen in my own family circles, people try to be so perfect that they cannot take decisions. They sit down and keep writing. They feel that anything in this world can be controlled, and they feel everything is in the locus of control, which is not the reality. So we have to understand where exactly are the concerns, where exactly. So if I'm a perfectionist, now let me talk to myself, though, let me not be I'm okay to be imperfect, let me love my flaws. I have flaws. Let me start loving my flaws. That's okay. That's absolutely okay. Nobody is perfect. We all have our set of pluses and we all have our set of minuses. So let us start appreciating and recognizing the flaws. And next, let's start loving the flaws. That is fine. Absolutely fine. Okay. Next, have a support system who can be your mentors, who are non-judgmental towards you, who can listen to you. Because let me tell you one thing, listening is half healing. As I always mentioned, you need to listen to understand. You don't listen to react or respond. You listen to understand. Okay, if you can be a wonderful listener to somebody's, trust me, half of the healing is already done. Okay, so be an amazing listener. You be a listener to somebody and have somebody as a listener to you. Okay, and then self care, reparent yourself. This is a very beautiful word which I love to use. Reparent yourself. The way you wanted your parents to take care of you, which has not happened during your childhood. Maybe, getting the things you want, or getting the love you want, or getting eating the food you want, or going the places you want, you did not do because of certain restrictions or because of certain things which has translated into a trauma inside you. Reparent yourself, start giving that self-care to yourself. Eat well, dress up well, feel good, do things that makes you feel better. Or maybe during childhood you wanted to do something, eat something more, go somewhere, maybe talk to your friends, play with your friends, do all those things. Reparenting is one of the very, very beautiful strategies, where you can slowly start coming out of the trauma, where reparent yourself what you have missed as a child. That is, this is the time that you reparent and heal the inner child traumas that you are carrying. Okay, next, after this, slowly, if there is a negative self-talk that is inside you, that tells you, the inner voice inside you tells you, you are useless, you are guilty, you have shame, you are this, you are that, and there are so many negative talks that we often tell ourselves inside, which we are not even conscious. Okay, so whenever there is a negative self-talk, sit down and write and say, no, you are good, you are beautiful. If somebody says you look ugly, say you're beautiful. If somebody says you do not have any skills, say no, I have these skills. Jot down those skills. Because it is all your training, your the little tiny organ structure in your brain, and you're just trying to recreate the things that can make you feel, or rewire the neural connections which has been hardly established to say you're useless, you're guilty, you have shame, and blah blah blah. You can rewire them. You can kill the existing connections and rewire the new connections by talking to yourself whenever there is a negative self-talk. Okay, accept compliment from others. If somebody says you're beautiful, accept. Don't, because when a person is in a trauma, one trauma is they say, no, they want to praise me. I'm really not beautiful. Okay, so this is a way you tell yourself. When somebody is giving you a compliment, honestly, wholeheartedly start accepting that compliment. Okay, compliment and start loving your imperfections. That is fine. We are all a beautiful piece of an imperfection. Nobody is perfect. Nothing is perfect in this world. We are all bits and pieces of imperfections. And this is the beauty of it. If everything is so perfect, let me tell you one thing, all of us would not be unique in this planet. If everyone is the same, if everyone has the same skills and abilities, if everybody looks the same, if everybody talks the same, then I mean, absolutely, there is no difference. We are not talking about it. We are all beautiful in our own ways. We are all unique people, unique beings with our own unique print and presence in this society. Let us start appreciating that. This will increase the sense of worth and self-esteem. So these are all the small things, and please do take the professional help. You do need a therapy. If the issue is more serious and if it is more hardwired, these things might help a bit, but definitely the therapy, the professional help is much needed. So go for a professional help, and I wish you all the very best. Come out of the trauma. We all have traumas of some kind, in some percentage or the other. It is time that we are out of the traumas and we start seeing ourselves as one of the most beautiful creations on this planet Earth. So with this, I end my talk. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
Wow, great presentation this morning. And Dr. and Professor Kavitha, I really don't want it to go. So I want you to give us more, if it's possible.
Uh,
Because this is very crucial. And you can believe with me that with this trauma, it has really damaged many lives, kills many lives. And majority of us are still in that situation. So if we want to solve the problem of mental health, if we want to solve the problem of emotional trauma, if we want to solve the problem of breaking family and cause of death through violence and abuse, then we have to keep sharing and bringing the awareness, like you said, so that every one of us can check our lives. It's very important. So I would like you to give us more if it's possible. I mean, like, for example, I might ask you, you might have said it before, but I just want it to, I want us to hear it, because this video, I'm going to play it everywhere I go. In fact, I'm going to use your video to give advice. I am not a professional counselor, but what you've shared with us now is enough for somebody to change their mindset, for somebody to free themselves, somebody to heal themselves. There's no medication that can heal any emotional trauma. We are only trying. They are only trying. Probably they prescribe suppressing tablets to suppress what we are feeling. But do you really totally completely come out of it? Or they give you sleepless tablets, a sleeping tablet, for you to take your mind out of it. But then when you wake up, what will going to happen again? You continue the life. And I believe that if majority, even billionaires, it doesn't, it doesn't exclude anybody in this world. We all have gone through it, and we're still going through it. And millions of people are still in it. So I want to beg you, Professor Dr. Kuhn, I
Sure.
will ask few questions, but I want you to more elaborate. I don't mind giving you more time. Our next speaker will come and join us if he's going to join us later. But I don't mind breaking it down for part 3, if it's possible. But we
Yes,
need to be
absolutely. Because
talking.
I think from a traumatic mindset, probably
Yes,
let me give you thoughts on how do you start seeing happiness in the life? What
yes,
are the
yes.
various things? Probably